When should doctors and mental health professionals like me worry about AI? A guest essay in the New York Times this week titled "Stop Worrying and Let AI Save Your Life" was written by a prominent physician and argued that in the face of limited access, high costs, and great need, we shouldn't wait for perfection before using these tools in medicine. He makes a strong case, but in my opinion, he leaves out some important areas where we should be worried. I'm Dr. Stephen Reidbord, a longtime psychiatrist and psychiatric educator, and this is More Than Meds. The author of the piece, Dr. Robert Wachter, is chair of medicine at the University of California, San Francisco, or UCSF. He's smart, he knows a lot about medicine, and he's written 6 books, including a New York Times bestseller 10 years ago. He makes some good points in his opinion piece. Used as a tool by careful physicians such as himself, AI can transcribe and summarize doctor-patient conversations, can boil down really lengthy medical records. It can even help suggest diagnostic possibilities. Medical practice in many settings it's very busy, it's hard, it's stretched thin. And he's right, we can't wait for perfection. Of course, each of these functions carries risks. General purpose AI like ChatGTP or Gemini or Claude, they're not designed to respect medical privacy. They're not HIPAA compliant. HIPAA is our acronym for the federal law that guarantees privacy of medical records. And these AI don't abide by that. If you or your doctor enters private medical information, or anything private really, into one of these AIs, who knows where it goes? It may be read by random computer people at the company. It may even be used as training materials when they create the next generation of their AI product. Because it's super convenient and technologically impressive and often free, it's easy to forget that most AI isn't private. People forget, or maybe they don't care, that when they enter material into artificial intelligence, it isn't private anymore. And if you think it's bad when the public forgets this, it's clearly worse when doctors or others who really should know better enter private patient or client information into AI. For the last few years, we've had to tell our psychiatric trainees in the program where I teach not to enter patient information, patient data, into general purpose AI to get a quick answer. And as you know, AI can make stuff up. It can hallucinate. Now, a smart, careful doctor like Dr. Robert Wachter, I'm sure, reviews the information the AI produces and checks if it makes sense. But are all doctors that careful? There may be risks in delegating these tasks to an app that usually is accurate but occasionally makes bizarre mistakes. If you start to rely on a tool like that, you can get lazy. But even given all that, I have to agree that if we're careful about it, if we doctors use AI as a tool, as an assistant, as long as we're careful, it's a great help. I myself have used AI for a variety of purposes, including sometimes clinical purposes. Although for that, I generally use open evidence, an AI developed specifically for medical use, which is HIPAA compliant. It follows medical privacy rules. And it cites the evidence from respected medical journals that it uses to form its answers. It doesn't just get the information off the internet like most AI does. Unfortunately, you have to be a licensed health professional to access it. In my field of psychiatry and mental health, there are AI tools available now that manage clinical notes and other clerical tasks. I don't use them myself, but they exist. If they're built carefully with privacy safeguards and safeguards against hallucinations and other similar glitches, they're very useful tools. But the reason I'm making this video is that there's a big difference between AI used as a tool, something a trained professional supervises and signs off on, and an AI that replaces that professional. Dr. Wachter says we're too worried about, quote, AI-based mental health assistance, unquote, when, and I quote, Millions of patients are now able to receive counseling via bots when a human therapist is impossible to find or impossibly costly. Here he's confusing an AI-based mental health assistant, whatever that is, with an AI therapist. Although there are tools in the works to assist mental health professionals that can provide exercises in between sessions, check-ins, and so forth, that's not mainly what's happening in my field. Instead, people are using general-purpose AI like ChatGTP as makeshift therapists when it's not designed to do that. And startups are creating AI therapy apps that aim to replace human therapists, not simply to assist them. Let's talk about each of those in turn. Many people use ChatGPT and its competitors for conversation. After all, they chat, it's right in the name. And most of the public doesn't appreciate the difference between an encouraging conversation or concrete advice and real psychotherapy. As I've said in other videos, everything that makes you feel good is not really therapy, although many people call it that. Real therapy is a treatment aimed to help you change something internal about yourself. But we live in an age when validation, encouragement, inspirational sayings, practical advice, mental health tips, and much else are all called therapy, a word that no longer really means anything. By the way, that's why I reserve the term psychotherapy for the real thing. AI plays right into this. It's carefully tuned to keep you engaged, to appeal to your inborn need for emotional attachment. I did a video on that specifically recently. How does it do that? With validation and encouragement and mental health tips. The very things that now fall under that vague and pretty much useless category that we now call therapy. So look, if ChatGPT engages your mind and lifts your spirits and makes you feel good, then great. Just understand that it's not really therapy, not psychotherapy in the technical sense. It isn't a treatment. It doesn't change anything within yourself. ChatGPT doesn't have any treatment goals. It doesn't have any goals of any kind. Whereas in real psychotherapy, the therapist has treatment goals, and they also have treatment theories, strategies about how to achieve those goals. The only goal of ChatGPT is to keep you using it. And in its tendency to be agreeable, AI like ChatGPT can reinforce unhealthy thoughts, leading to occasional reports, I'm sure you've seen this in the news, of AI psychosis in susceptible individuals, or AI that encourages youth to go ahead and carry out their suicide plans, and so on. It's not risk-free. Given the loose or absent safeguards, you're pretty much on your own. But, sure, if it makes you feel better and you're willing to take those risks, go right ahead. Just know that it isn't really therapy. A lot of people like AI support, even if it's synthetic. What about AI designed to act as a therapist? Several models have been shown to help people with depression and anxiety. So far, so-called AI therapy is based on cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, a school of therapy that's the easiest to program. CBT isn't the best approach for all emotional problems, but it helps a lot of people, so should we stop worrying? Not if we want to uphold quality standards in our field. An AI that provides CBT is far better than nothing. Dr. Wachter was right about that. But it's also far worse than a competent human CBT therapist. A human clinician picks up on subtle facial expressions, tone of voice, speech hesitations, even things like posture and hygiene, to get a global sense of the patient or client, and also to tailor the therapist's responses, that is, what the therapist says and when they say it. An AI can't do any of that. And it can't provide a different kind of treatment when that's needed or refer the person to someone who can provide it. Dr. Wachter welcomes helpful AI tools in medicine, and I totally understand. But what he seems not to understand is that some of these tools are meant to replace us, not assist us. And they're here to replace him, too. Here's an article about AI that's currently being used to prescribe medicines without a human prescriber involved. I wonder if Wachter thinks that's worth worrying about, because I do. Given the economic pressures to automate and the level of AI hype in our culture, I think more people should be worried. We shouldn't halt progress, of course, but we need to weigh the price we're paying in quality of care and turning intimate human healing into a mechanized commodity. When these exciting tools start replacing, not merely assisting, human-centered healthcare. Thanks for tuning in today. I've done a couple of videos before about AI therapy, and here's a playlist. Please like this video if you like it and subscribe to my channel. I very much welcome your comments below. See you next time.